Mabuhay, esteemed panel members Dr. Patterson and Cabo and Dr. Jean-Marc Distor, and Chair Dr. Geraldine Reyes. Thank you for the opportunity to present my graduate thesis. And I am honored to share the findings of my research, which explores how financial indicators can help us better understand and improve human development. Let me begin by introducing the title of my study and the person who guided me through this journey. The title of my thesis is Unveiling the Predictive Power of Financial Indicators for Human Development Index. I am Christina Patricia Delgado, and I was fortunate to be guided by my advisor, Dr. Genaro V. Hampos. Now, let's take a look at why this topic matters and how it connects to the real world challenges. In today's world, improving people's lives is a shared goal across governments, institutions, and communities. But progress is not just about growing economies. It's about ensuring people have access to education, healthcare, and opportunities to earn a decent living. That's where HDI comes in. It gives us a clearer picture of how well a country is doing in terms of health, education, and income, not just in wealth. My research humbly asks a practical question. Can financial indicators like money supply, investments, and access to banking help predict HDI? If we can answer that, then we can help leaders make smarter, data-driven decisions that directly improve people's lives. The core idea is simple: a healthy financial system supporting a healthy society. When people can access financial services, when markets are stable, and when investments flow into communities, we see improvements in education, healthcare, and income. This study offers a way to connect financial data to human outcomes so that policies are not just economically sound, but socially meaningful. To understand how I approach this, let's take a look at the conceptual framework of the study. This shows the heart of the study, how financial indicators are connected to human development. The financial sector indicators were clustered into three, such as financial inclusion, financial development, and financial sustainability. Financial inclusion includes ATMs per 100,000 adults, credit info index, and domestic credit to private sector, while financial development includes road money growth, foreign direct investment, and market capitalization. For financial sustainability, indicators like non-performing loans, real interest rate, inflation rate, and total reserves contains these, the financial sustainability. The independent variable is the Human Development Index, which includes health, education, and income. What do the arrows mean? So for the green arrow, it shows a positive relationship, meaning when a financial indicator goes up, HDI tends to also go up. For the red arrows, it shows a negative correlation. When the indicator increases, HDI tends to go down. For the black arrows, it represents a neutral or mixed relationship. The effect is not clearly positive or negative. While for dashed arrow green, it shows a positive trend that was not statistically strong, but is still helpful for the study. So going back to the clusters of the financial sectors, it was actually divided in three, right? So we have inclusion, development, and sustainability. These clusters represent different roles in the financial system. Financial inclusion plays a helpful part in how people access financial services, while financial development helps in the economic growth. For sustainability, it ensures long-term stability. Now, why does the framework matter? By organizing the indicators into clusters, we can see which parts of the financial system have the biggest impact on human development. This helps policymakers know where to focus, whether it's improving access to banking, attracting investments, or managing inflation. It also shows that financial system does not work in isolation. One change like inflation can affect interest rates, money supply, and ultimately people's quality of life. Now that we have seen the structure of the study, let us now move to how the study was conducted. The first, uh, the first methodology shows the research design and data collection. This quantitative correlational and predictive analysis shows the predictive relationship between financial indicators and HDI across 11 Southeast Asian countries using data from 2010 to 2023. The collected secondary data from publicly accessible sources, specifically the World Bank and the UNDP databases, were used. But before diving into analysis, I ensured that data was clean and reliable. Sorry. Now moving into how was this all done? This is the data validation process. To ensure accuracy, I applied strict inclusion and exclusion criteria. We removed indicators with missing inconsistent data and focused only with those at least 70% completeness. I also consulted experts to validate the data and used statistical checks to confirm normality and reliability. For quantitative checks, I conducted a series of statistical assessments to identify any inconsistencies. This includes descriptive statistics, scatter plots, and residual plots. This methodical approach to data validation provides confidence in the accuracy and integrity of the datasets used for this study. Expert consultation together with Dr. Mersha, Dr. Hossam, and Professor Tao Tao provided critical guidance on how to address data deficiencies and suggested methods for data interpretation to maintain the integrity of the analysis. With validated data in place, I proceeded to analyze the relationships between financial indicators and HDI. Moving to the data analysis rather. For the data analysis, all statistical procedures were done using the SPSS software. I primarily use two statistical tests, which are Pearson correlation and simple linear regression. For Pearson correlation analysis, it was employed to measure the strength and direction of the linear relationship between the financial indicators and the HDI. Second, a series of simple linear regression analysis were conducted to determine the independent predictive power of each financial indicator on the HDI. These methods help me answer the two main research questions. And these are the first question is, what is the strength and direction of the statistically significant positive relationship between the financial indicators and HDI across the 11 studied countries? You can see here the findings of the study. The first problem addressed was to determine the strength and direction of the relationship between various financial indicators and HDI. My analysis using Pearson correlation revealed that a number of indicators had a strong, statistically significant positive relationship. Excuse me. The strongest correlation were found with broad money, total reserves, FDI, broad money growth, and personal remittances received. The R, this one in the middle, shows the strong rather the strength of the indicator to HDI. As it's closer to 1, it's indicating a strong relationship. So problem 1 simply asks, can we use financial indicators to predict HDI? And which ones are the most helpful? In the study, it shows that when countries manage their financial systems well, especially by increasing money circulation, attracting investments, and supporting families through remittances, people live longer, learn more, and earn better. Simply put, this means that when these financial indicators improve, so does the quality of life in a country. Now let's move to the second question. What are the individual predictive equations for each statistically significant financial indicator? And how do they independently quantify the forecasting power of these indicators on specific components on HDI based on historical data? Or simply, can these indicators actually predict HDI? The second problem focused on, can we use financial indicator to predict HDI on its own, and how strong is that prediction? It was found that certain financial indicators, such as money supply and foreign investments, can be used to predict how well people live. And we built simple formulas to show how much they help. Using the simple linear regression, it was able to generate predictive equations for each significant financial indicator to quantify their forecasting power on HDI. For example, the broad money showing the predictive equation, which is y equals 0.540 plus 0.03x, where in this equation, 0.540 is the constant. It represents the baseline HDI when broad money is 0. And 0.03 is the coefficient. It shows how much HDI is expected to increase for each unit increase in broad money. So if broad money increases by 10 units, HDI is predicted to increase by 0.03. This approach helps us understand the independent impact of each financial indicator. The constant gives a starting point, while the coefficient tells us how powerful that financial indicator is in improving HDI. This helps us understand how much financial sector contributes to human development independently. Now let's dig into the conclusion. My research shows that financial indicators, especially those related to money supply, reserves, and investments, can strongly predict how well people live. This means that a healthy financial system is not just about growing the economy, it is about improving lives. What makes this study powerful is that it doesn't look at numbers. It connects them to real human outcomes like education, health, and income. By grouping the indicators into clusters like inclusion, development, and sustainability, we were able to see clear patterns and understand how different parts of the financial system works together to support human development. This matters because it gives policymakers a roadmap instead of guessing where to invest or what to fix. They now have evidence to guide decisions, whether it's expanding access to banking, attracting foreign investments, or managing inflation. Ultimately, this study proves that finance is not just about money, it is about people. And when we strengthen the right financial indicators, we don't just grow economies, we build better futures. Now, let me share the recommendations of the study. Based on my findings, I offer two key takeaways, one for policymakers and one for future researchers. For policymakers, this study proves that financial indicators are not just economic metrics. They are tools for improving lives. Indicators like broad money, total reserves, foreign direct investments, and personal remittances showed strong predictive power for HDI. This means that when these financial indicators improve, people tend to live longer, learn more, and earn better. So, policies that strengthen financial markets and expand financial inclusions are not just good for the economy, they are good for the society. Secondly, for researchers, this study lays the groundwork for deeper exploration. I recommend using more advanced methods like panel data analysis to uncover the causal pathways between financial indicators and HDI. There is still much to learn about how these relationships evolve over time and across different regions. The research connects how finance and humanity interconnects. It shows that when we manage financial systems wisely, we don't just grow economies, we build better futures. And that is why this research matters. This concludes my presentation. Thank you once again, esteemed panel members, for your time, attention, and thoughtful consideration of my work. I welcome your questions and feedback, and I am excited to discuss how this research can contribute to future work in finance, development, and policy. Thank you so much, and have a great day.